What happens when vampires take over the Marvel Universe? Today we're going to be recapping the main 5 issues of Marvel's Blood Hunt event. So make sure to grab some garlic bread because this is about to get fantastic. Let's go! Earth surrounded by this creepy black cloud, officially dubbed the Sun Death. Some ominous voiceover dude tells us this is how the world ends. And I'm just sitting here wondering who hired this guy. Scarlet Witch is out there 15 minutes later, throwing hands with the supervillain Blackout. Except, plot twist, he's now some kind of human fog machine spewing this dark force junk over the planet. He's also way less recognizable now that he has a cloud for a body. Meanwhile, Iron Man chimes in, because Tony just loves hearing himself talk, telling us that this dark force transformation thing is happening to other superpowered beings like Darkstar, Dusk, Silhouette, and Cloak. All dark force users. All now glorified portals to a shadowy nightmare dimension. Magic? Nope. Tech? Nada. Absolutely nothing's gonna work. Cut to Hunter's Moon and Tigra. They're out in the field connecting the dots. The sun's gone, the planet's dark, and, drumroll please, it's a vampire buffet out here. And oh boy do the vampires show up. Cities are being turned into all-you-can-drain blood bars. Except for one place, Latveria. Why? Because Dr. Doom doesn't do invasion. His country's got tougher borders than an exclusive Avengers after party. Doom's just sitting there, cape flowing, probably sipping on a victory cocktail. 1 hour in, and Miles Morales is out there doing what Spider-Man does best. Fighting the good fights and cracking jokes. Blade shows up, the Daywalker himself, all serious and mysterious. He tells Miles he's got a plan because, of course, Blade's got a plan. It's what he does. I mean, have you seen those shades? Instant credibility. Meanwhile, the Avengers are holding the line, punching and smashing their way through waves of bloodsuckers. They're confused, like, why now? Who's behind this? And Vision's like, no clue where Dracula is, but this doesn't feel like his vibe. Enter Blade, calling the team to meet at the Impossible City, which is basically like the Avengers' floating man cave, but with 200% more sci-fi. Now here's where it gets juicy. The Avengers. Iron Man, Thor, Captain Marvel, Vision, Captain America, T'Challa, and Wanda show up ready to brainstorm. Blade rolls in last. Suspicious? You betcha. Suddenly, bam! A psychic attack knocks them all for a loop. Out of Blade's vehicle steps, wait for it, the Blood Coven. Yep, super-powered vampire baddies named Bloodstorm 1, Megrim, Unusual, Cruel, Damascene, and Smoke Eater. Because nothing says evil like a goth-sounding supervillain name. Each of these vampire freaks is tailor-made to take out an Avenger. Psychic attacks? Check. Mind games? Double check. Weird tentacle powers? Also check. It's basically a reverse Avengers Assemble moment as our heroes get wrecked. The supervillain vampire Unusual starts the party by pinning down Scarlet Witch with its psychic powers, turning her magic into a whole lot of nothing. Damascene? Oh, they're not playing fair. They slice through Thor like it's Casual Tuesday, completely ignoring all of that Asgardian strength, and even nullifying Vision's powers like someone forgot to pay his software subscription. Bloodstorm 1? This guy just yeets Black Panther and Captain America across the room like they're action figures he's tired of playing with. And then there's Cruel. Let's talk about Cruel. This freaky vampire uses his tendrils to completely shut down Iron Man's suit. I'm talking full system failure. Tony Stark's flailing around like he forgot how to Iron Man. Meanwhile, Megrim's over here diving into Captain Marvel's brain, leaving her in complete agony, a literal mind screw. Bloodstorm 1 circles back to Captain America, because apparently Sam Wilson has priority targets written on his forehead. Bloodstorm 1 rants about how Sam is the symbol of humanity's hope and all that jazz, and how that makes him the perfect first victim. Points for the theatrics there. This fight is relentless. Every time the Avengers try to push back, the Blood Coven shuts them down harder than an unpaid Wi-Fi bill. Thor takes a brutal injury to the head that would definitely leave a mark, while Black Panther is forced to order the sentient base to start the evacuation. His priority? Getting Captain America out of there alive. But before T'Challa can even finish the job, Bloodstorm 1 leaves him heavily injured too. The Avengers are beaten down, and it's not looking good. This isn't just a bad day, it's an apocalyptic disaster. And then cut to Doctor Strange and Clea, hard at work in the Sanctum Sanctorum, surrounded by all the spooky candles and ancient grimoires you'd expect. They're frantically trying to cook up a spell to stop the vampires. But it's like trying to bake a cake without flour, or in this case, without the Darkhold, which apparently is the only cookbook for world-ending situations like this. Enter Blade, looking all grim and broody. So iconic. He strolls in and starts dropping some serious exposition bombs. Turns out this whole mess is the work of a vampire cult called the Structure. These fanged fanatics used to have a leader, but Moon Knight took care of that guy. The new boss of the Structure, way more ambitious and way more evil. So Blade lays out the master plan. 1. Use Atlantean rituals to hijack Dark Force users like Blackout and turn them into living portals. Boom, the Sun Death. 2. Plunge the world into darkness, giving vampires free reign to attack cities, wreck infrastructure, and throw humanity into total chaos. Number 3. Take out the Avengers, because, you know, why leave the planet's strongest heroes standing around when you're trying to take over? Strange is naturally horrified by this. The Avengers are down, the planet's a mess, and humanity is on the menu. He tells Clea they have to find a way to nuke these bloodsuckers, even if it means wiping out the good vampires too. Logic straight from the Doctor Strange playbook. Save the planet first, worry about your karma later. Blade just nods along, but then there's this weird vibe like he's hiding something. Then comes the twist. Blade doesn't just drop the mic, he stakes it. Turns out Dracula isn't the mastermind behind this apocalypse. No, it's someone much worse. Blade lets his fangs show and stabs Doctor Strange in one smooth motion because, wait for it, Blade is the leader of the Structure. So we kick things off in the Impossible City, which, spoiler alert, is aptly named. Thor is all tied up, not in the fun way, and Scarlet Witch is lying on the ground like she just lost a WWE match. Blade is looking as smug as ever. And oh look, Black Panther is now rocking the whole vampire chic thing. Guess who's his new boss? Blade. That's right. T'Challa is officially Blade's little vampire minion. Blade wastes no time from playing Mr. Bossy Pants and sends Black Panther off on a mysterious mission to find a prize. Meanwhile, the Blood Coven gets the task of finding some girl. Why? Blade doesn't tell us. Probably because he thinks he's edgy. Flash over to New York City, where vampires are running wild, turning the Big Apple into the big blood bag. Enter Bloodline, Blade's daughter, who's saving civilians like a total boss. And wait, what's this? She's teamed up with Dracula? Yes, the Dracula. Apparently the big guy is on a vampire diet and fighting against the vampire cult, the Structure. I know, ironic, right? Dracula versus vampires. It's like Burger King fighting its own Whoppers. Their little rescue mission gets interrupted by a mysterious voice. Bloodline and Dracula turn around, jaws hitting the floor as the Blood Coven makes their grand entrance. Leading the charge is Bloodstorm 1, who, fun fact, is Dracula's clone. This comic's family drama is wilder than a soap opera. Dracula tries to flex his Lord of the Vampires title, but Bloodstorm 1 calls him a false king. Ouch! Someone get Dracula some aloe vera for that burn. Elsewhere in the city, Hunter's Moon, Tigra, and Miles Morales are putting their vampire slaying skills to work. They're doing pretty well for a team that looks like they've just met at an after-school program. The big brain idea? Find Doctor Strange. Why? Because when your vampire apocalypse hits, you call the guy with the cool cape. Surprise! Doctor Strange shows up, but as a ghost. Plot twist, his body's already been turned into a vampire. He's floating around in his astral form while Clea babysits his bitey, rage-filled body. Honestly, 10 out of 10 for effort, Clea. Meanwhile, Bloodline and Dracula get a surprise visit from the Avengers. Vision, Captain America, Iron Man, and Captain Marvel are back, and this time they actually read the enemy's playbook. Vision gives Megrim a first-class ticket to the sun. Captain Marvel smacks Bloodstorm 1 like a piñata, and Captain America's shield KOs Smoke Eater. Oh, and Iron Man? He's finally figured out how to stop Krull's razor wire tendrils by going all Magneto on him. Just as Damascene is about to ruin Iron Man's day, Vision comes back, channeling enough solar energy to make vampires everywhere scream, "Not the light!" Captain Marvel 1-ups everyone by blasting a hole through the Dark Force clouds, flooding the battlefield with glorious sunlight. And yes, the Avengers strike a dramatic hero pose under the sunbeam because what's a victory without a little flex? The Blood Coven, realizing they're cooked, literally, teleports away. Captain America, meanwhile, is as annoyed as a Brit who's just discovered the pub ran out of property. Righteous, dramatic, and ready to complain about it to anyone who will listen. Finally, Bloodline convinces the Avengers to join her in finding Doctor Strange. When they reunite with Miles Morales and the gang, Bloodline gets all excited to see someone she knows. But then, Miles grabs his head like he's got the mother of all migraines. He rips off his mask, revealing fangs. His eyes glow, his teeth are sharper than my wit, and plot twist, Miles Morales is now a vampire. We kick things off in the Impossible City, which sounds like a theme park ride, but nope, It's Blade's evil HQ. That's right, the Dave Walker has leveled up to Lord Vampire Supreme. Blade's having like a little boss vampire meeting with Black Panther, who's now sporting some undead swag of his own. Poor T'Challa. Guy just wanted to protect Wakanda, and now he's stuck playing fetch for Team Vampire? Blade asks if T'Challa found the big bad plot device. I mean, the prize. T'Challa confirms it's buried under Wakanda, and Blade's like, great, be a good undead panther and bring it to me. Meanwhile, Scarlet Witch is currently captured, and she's in full-on Queen of Sass mode right now. She's like, hey Blade, guess what? Your Blood Coven stooges are down a guy. I bet that means the Avengers are gearing up to curb stomp your whole vampire empire. Blade just ignores her because he's too busy plotting world domination or practicing his evil laugh or something. Cut to the Sanctum Sanctorum, where things are not chill. Miles Morales is here, and surprise, he's a vampire now. Turns out giving a kid superpowers and fangs is a recipe for chaos. He's flipping out. Vision tries to play the responsible adult, but gets zapped with a big nope, courtesy of Miles' electrical powers. Then Clea steps in, ties Miles up with the mystical bands of Cyttorak, and Doctor Strange in his ghosty astral form uses the Eye of Agamotto to reset Miles' brain, like a mystical Control-Alt-Delete. Miles wakes up and is like, yeah, so while I was in Psycho Vamp mode, I got a vision telling me to hunt down Bloodline. Dracula breaks it down for us. Blade's vampiric powers are connected to his daughter. She's basically his kryptonite, and if anyone can take him down, it's her. No pressure or anything. But does Bloodline want to take out her own dad? Heck no! She's like, what if I just ran away instead? And that's exactly what she does. Before anyone can say, wait, where's Bloodline? She's out the door faster than Quicksilver on espresso. Dracula and Miles team up together to go after her. Back inside, the rest of the Avengers continue brainstorming. Doctor Strange is cooking up a plan to clear the Dark Force clouds covering the Earth and plunging the world into eternal night. Meanwhile, Tigra and Hunter's Moon are coming up with a plan to summon an army that's immune to vampires. Then there's Iron Man. Good old Tony Stark decides it's time to break out the world's most expensive megaphone. His plan? Broadcast a motivational speech to inspire hope across the planet and potentially lure Blade out of his HQ. And who's better at inspirational monologues than Captain America? Sam Wilson takes center stage and delivers a banger of a speech, reminding everyone that the Avengers have faced worse. Aliens, mad gods, and even Thanos' chin. Humanity will rise. Blade sees the broadcast and absolutely loses it. He's like, the Avengers just don't quit, and now they're trying to inspire hope? How dare they? So he skips to the last page of his evil villain playbook and activates a translocation device to bring his ultimate weapon to New York. What's the weapon? Oh, nothing major. Just the Temple of the First Blasphemy, a giant ancient doom structure that crashes into Central Park and ruins everyone's day. Picnic season? Cancelled. Thanks, Blade. New York City. The Big Apple, the concrete jungle, the place where bagels are king and weird stuff happens on the daily. But this, even for NYC, this is bananas. Right in the middle of Central Park, there's a big old ancient Atlantean temple, the Temple of the First Blasphemy. And if you think that name screams evil lair, congrats, you've been paying attention. However, our story kicks off with a mysterious voice. No, not mine, though that would be awesome. Lamenting the dumpster fire that is Earth right now. Vampires everywhere. The Avengers totally wrecked. Some of them are even locked up in Blade's secret base. Oh, and Doctor Strange? He's basically Casper the Ghost, floating around like a hologram with zero chill. Turns out, this last-ditch plan involves going to the one guy you never want to owe a favor to. Doctor Doom. Now, Blade and his Blood Coven squad roll up to the temple with their newest recruit. A vampiric Black Panther, looking like he just stepped off the set of a horror movie. Blade starts dropping cryptic lines about how long it's been since he's walked these halls. But wait, plot twist. Black Panther realizes this isn't Blade at all. It's Varney, the OG vampire, cosplaying as Blade because apparently centuries-old bloodsuckers love a dramatic reveal. This guy's been puppeteering Blade's body as part of a master plan that makes your average conspiracy theory look tame. Meanwhile, back in the scenic Latveria, Doctor Doom is busy being, well, Doom. When Strange and Clea show up asking for help, Doom smugly explains how he's been hip to Varney's game for years. Turns out, Varney's minion, Marie Laveau, prepared Blade's body to be Varney's meat suit ages ago. Doom, of course, has kept Latveria Vampire free thanks to his "I'm smarter than everyone" toolkit. Oh, and about that Dark Force cloud covering the Earth, Doom's already got a fix. He's assembled the students of Strange Academy to help dispel it. But, and here's the kicker, in order for Doom to muster up enough power to get rid of the Dark Force cloud, Doom demands that Strange hand over the title of Sorcerer Supreme before he even lifts a finger. Because Doom doesn't just play chess, he is the chessboard. Meanwhile, on Asgard, Tigra, Hunter's Moon, and their surprise third wheel, Wrecker, yes, the guy with the magic crowbar, are sneaking around like cats in a china shop. Their mission? Break someone out of a heavily guarded cell. When they reach the door, a voice from inside recognizes Hunter's Moon as his son. Wrecker flexes his enchanted crowbar skills, busting open the door like it's his day job. Who's behind the door? Stay tuned, it's juicy. Now, let's cut back to the big bad at the Temple of the First Blasphemy. Varney, in full Bond villain mode, starts monologuing about his master plan. Turns out, he's been playing the long game for centuries. Now, he's got all the ingredients he needs for ultimate doom: the living Darkhold, aka the Scarlet Witch, and the blood of a god, which is Thor, because he's tied up and looking rough. His endgame? Evolve beyond being just a vampire. To him, vampires were only step one, a primitive stage. Now, he's on the verge of becoming a planet-consuming force of destruction, the ultimate unliving dark force. But then Black Panther interrupts, pointing to the sky. The Dark Force clouds have begun to part, and the moon shines down like a big disco ball. Across the world, portals begin to open up, and a voice booms. "I am the light in the darkness. Travelers by night see the face of Khonshu." And they know it's about to get real. From these portals emerge Khonshu's undead army. Skeleton warriors with zero chill, led by none other than Moon Knight. Varney's reaction? A mix of shock and meh. He's all, "Nice try, but my evil ritual is already in full swing." Black Panther uses this distraction to stab Varney with a stake removed from Thor's head. But it's like poking a grizzly bear with a toothpick. Varney shrugs it off and uses his Dark Force powers to toss T'Challa to the side. The heart-shaped herb is doing its thing, and it's slowly purging the vampire curse from T'Challa. Then, just as things seem hopeless, Thor stirs. Lightning flickers in his fingertips. The god of thunder is back, baby. And just then, the Avengers decide to make their grand entrance. All dramatic poses and heroic one-liners, ready to throw down with Varney. But Varney isn't backing down. He's fully transformed now, a terrifying, unliving dark force being, and he's all, "Bring it on, losers. I'm the end of all things." So picture this: Dr. Doom, the metal-faced maniac who probably irons his cape in his spare time, walks up to Doctor Strange and drops a bombshell. "Give me the Sorcerer Supreme title." Clear's like, "Over my dead body." And Doom's like, "Funny you should mention that, because the planet's kinda drowning in dark clouds and vampy vibes, so maybe just hand it over?" Strange, currently stuck in his astral form, says, "Fine, you win this time, you smug tin can. Just promise to give it back once you're done saving the world." And Doom's like, "I'll definitely give it back once I'm done saving the world." Clea is still ready to punt him into the dark dimension. Meanwhile, back in New York, in the Temple of the First Blasphemy, the Avengers are currently playing Twilight's Battle Royale edition with Varney and his band of superpowered vampires, the Blood Coven. Vision? Boom! He blasts Unusual, freeing Scarlet Witch. Bloodstorm 1, your typical vampire with anger issues, lunges at Black Panther, who's still shaking off his "I was a vampire for like 5 minutes" hangover. But who comes to the rescue? Captain America, with a flying kick so patriotic it probably sings the national anthem mid-air. And Thor? He strolls up to Varney like, "Hey, remember me? It's been 1,000 years. You still mad about that thing?" Turns out Varney is still mad about that thing. Thor doesn't have Mjolnir on hand yet, so Varney gives him the business. But don't worry, folks. Mjolnir does eventually come back like Thor's trusty metal boomerang. Cut to Iron Man yelling at Scarlet Witch, "Cast the Montesi formula. Wipe out the vamps." And Wanda's like, "Hard pass, Tony. Last time I did something that extreme, everyone hated me for it. I'm not doing that again." Bloodstorm grabs Vision and rips off his arm like he's pulling wings off a fly and tosses him aside like yesterday's leftovers. Vision's all like, well, that was rude. Now, let's check on Doom. This guy's multitasking like a boss. He's got the Strange Academy kids helping him whip up a counterspell for the Dark Force clouds while giving Clea and Strange side-eye for doubting him. This man is straight up thriving. Meanwhile, Bloodline, Dracula, and Vampire Miles Morales are watching the chaos from a distance. Bloodline's currently having a big main character moment. She's finally ready to take down her dad, Blade, who's currently Varney's unwilling vampire meat puppet. Hashtag awkward family reunion. Back at the Temple of the First Blasphemy, Varney is flexing his Dark Force powers and monologuing about how much he hates Thor because they're both immortal gods or whatever. Thor's like, buddy, get in line. And just when things look grim, boom! Mjolnir shows up and sends a shockwave through the battle and gives Thor his second wind. Iron Man shouts at Captain Marvel, can you blast a hole in the clouds for sunlight again? But nope, the clouds are like, not today. At this very moment, Moon Knight shows up because this battle wasn't chaotic enough. He slices Bloodstorm 1, giving Vision a chance to strike, but Vision's down to like 1% battery and can't land the shot. Cruel, another vampire baddie with razor wire tentacles, wraps them both up like a creepy Christmas present. Bloodstorm taunts them, promising to make them watch as Varney pulls a world domination but make it spooky power move. Doom, meanwhile, is in full spellcaster mode. Turns out the Dark Force cloud magic is pre-full Atlantean, and Doom's got it covered because of course he does. He starts the ritual and things start turning around. Then it's Bloodline's time to shine. She leaps at Varney, stabs him in the chest and shouts something like, I'm saving my dad! But Varney, being the smug jerk he is, says, nah kid, you're Blade's daughter. I've possessed this body for far too long, so that's not gonna be enough to take me down. Enter Miles Morales, who's like, hey, remember me? You turned me into a vampire. Bam, he lands a hit. Turns out, since Miles is part of Varney's bloodline now, his attack actually does some serious damage. This opens the door for Doom's spell to fully kick in. The Dark Force clouds start to lift, and Scarlet Witch forces Varney and Blade apart with a spell. Blade collapses, free at last, but looking like he just got run over by the Hulk. Bloodline rushes over to him, crying, I'm sorry! And Blade, in classic dad fashion, says, you did good, kid. The Avengers rally. They pin down Varney and mop up the rest of the Blood Coven as the sunlight finally breaks through. But wait, Doom's not done. Remember that whole, I promised to give you the Sorcerer Supreme title back thing? Yeah, about that. Doom tells Strange, technically, I promised to save the world, right? And guess what? This fight was just the appetizer. I'll give you the title back when the whole world is saved. Finally, the part vampire, part Spider-Man Miles Morales realizes that he's not burning up in the sunlight, which freaks him out. Dracula, the drama queen, cryptically says, oh, you and I share Varney's blood now. This is only the beginning, and he suggests that the vampires have now lost their weakness to sunlight. The issue wraps up with a global broadcast. Who gets all the credit for saving the day? Not the Avengers, not Doctor Strange, nope. It's all about Victor Von Doom, the new superior Sorcerer Supreme. And you know that he made sure everyone got his name right. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. But for the meantime, peace, peace, peace.